Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making the tutorial for this beautiful shorts. I made a top with this same color a while back and I decided to make a shorts that would go with it. Don't worry, if you've not seen the tutorial for the top, I'm going to be putting the link on the description below so you can go ahead to make your two-piece if that's what you want. I had to actually pair them together on this video so you can see how beautiful they look together. I can get over this color. All right, so this is a step-by-step detailed tutorial, so it is beginner friendly. I used the granny stitch on this one, so without further ado, let us get into this tutorial. Okay, so for this project, these are the materials you are going to need. So, like you already know, I'm making these shorts for the short sleeve sweater I made a while back. That's why you're seeing I'm using exactly the same color for it. The yellow color and the off-white color, the cream color. All right, and as usual, you are going to need your measurement tape. That is very important. You need some stitch markers, you need a tapestry needle, and then you need a scissors. Then for this project, I'm going to be working with a 4mm hook size. All right, so let us get into it. Okay, so the measurement you are going to need for this one is going to be your hips measurement and the length that you want your shirt to be on. All right, first we're going to be starting with the band. Okay, so for the band we are just going to be doing single crochet on the band. All right, so to begin that one, you are going to make a slip knot, and then you are going to chain up 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So this is how long I want my band to be. But if you know you want your band longer, you can go ahead to make it longer. All right, but me, I'm just going to be stopping at 10 inches, 10 chain. Okay, so now to begin the row 1, you are going to chain up 1 and skip that 1 stitch, and on the next stitch you are going to be going in there with a single crochet. Excuse me. And on the next stitch you're going to go in there with a single crochet, and on the next you're going to go in there with a single crochet. So for the row 1, just go on putting in 1 single crochet on each of the stitches. All right, and make sure that you are counting your stitches, because now that I made 10 chains, I must make sure that the stitches I get is 10, because we want it to be uniform all the way down. All right, so now I have my 10 stitches. Okay, so now to begin the row 2, you're just going to chain up 1, turn your work to the other side. So now we are going to be working the back loops only. I like doing the band with back loops only because it stretches and I like that feel when I wear it. So, but the first stitch here, you're just going to be going in with the regular single crochet. And now on the next 8 stitch, you're going to be working back loops only. So you turn your work to the top like this, and then you go to the middle and pick just the back loops only and put a single crochet in there. And on the next stitch, you're going to do exactly the same thing, the middle, and take the back loops only and do a single crochet. So this is what you do for the next 8 stitch. That is if you are doing 10 stitches, because like I told you, I'm going to be doing the teaching based on what I'm doing. So you incorporate it to the one that you end up doing, okay? Okay, now that I have the 8 stitches with the back loops only, the last stitch here now, you're just going to do a regular single crochet at the end here. Excuse me, I don't know what is happening to my throat today. All right, so now to start on the row 3, you are going to chain up 1 and turn your work to the other side. And on the first stitch now, just like we did in the row 2, you are going to do a regular single crochet. And for the next 8 stitches, you're going to be doing back loops only. All right, and then when you get to the very last stitch, you do your regular single crochet. So this is the pattern that you are going to be following for the band, okay, until you get the length that you want. This band now, you are going to be doing your hips measurements on this band. So whatever it is you get around your hips, that is what you are going to be making your band based on. Okay, and make sure you are stretching it out as you go. You just don't do it like that. I will advise that you actually wrap it around your hips as you go, so you know when to stop. Okay, so now I'm going to go off camera to complete my band, and when I come back, I'll show you what we're going to be doing next. All right. Okay, so I'm done with my band, and this is how it's looking. This one actually it went through my hips, and this is where I'm going to be stopping. I ended up making 111 rows of single crochet, so I'm going to be stopping here. I do not know how many you are going to do or how it's going to fit into your whips, but just make sure, like I said, you are wrapping it around your hips so that you know this is where I want to stop or not. Okay, so the next step now is going to be joining it together. All right, so when you do that, make sure you put it straight because we do not want it to be rolling around. All right, so remove your hook from the loop here and then turn it to the other side, just like this. Okay, so to join now, you are going to go into this this other side of the band. You go into the very first stitch here. All right, and then you are going to go into the loop right here. Please just watch what I'm doing, okay? And you are going to pull the loop out just like this, okay? And then you are going to chain up one and then turn your work to the other side, because we are going to be doing this joining with the slip stitch method right now. Okay, so on this very first stitch now, you're going to go into that first stitch right there from this side and go into the first stitch on the other side as well, and then you're going to do a slip stitch. All right, and then you are going to go into the next stitch here and go into the next stitch on the other side of the band, and then you're going to do a slip stitch just like this. And make sure when you are doing it, you're following the exact stitch, because you don't want one to be longer than the other one on this part. All right, so you go into the next stitch here and pick the next stitch on the other band and do a slip stitch, and then just keep doing that. Make sure you are going into each of the stitches accordingly. All right, so I'm going to go off camera now to complete mine, and when I'm done, I'll come back to show you what we're going to be doing next. All right. Okay, so I'm done with my joining, and this is how it's looking at the back. So this is the front. Let me show you the front. You see how everything blended together. All right, so now we are going to be working on the front. Okay, so we are going to be putting single crochet all across here. So to start on that, you are going to chain up one and turn your work to the front side now. Okay, because like I told you, the place you joined happened to be the back. All right, so this single crochet that we are going to be making now, we are going to be making it in on the front of our band. All right, so to start on that now, you see this particular stitch where you did the chain one. Now you are going to be going in there with one single crochet. All right, and on the next stitch, you are going to be going in there with one single crochet. So you see all this part that has this like a circle design. Now you are going to be going in there with two single crochet. So now this is the first one. You go in there with two single crochet, and the stitch before that bump, that half circle kind of bump, you put one single crochet there. And then on this half circle stitch now, I'm going to be going in there with two single crochet. So this is what you are going to continue for the entire row. All right, until you get to the beginning here again. And when you get here, I'll come back to show you what we're going to be doing next. All right. Okay, so I'm done with my single crochet row, and this is how it's looking. All right, so now to start on the row 1, so now we are going to be calling this one the row 1, because now we are going to start working on the granny stitch. So I'm not going to be counting this single crochet row as row 1. All right, so now to begin the row 1, you are going to chain up 3. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so on this same stitch now, you are going to be going in there with 2 more double crochet on that stitch, because the chain 3 is going to be serving as 1 double crochet. So that is how you make your first cluster. All right, so now you are going to yarn over, skip 2 stitches, and on the 3rd stitch you are going to be making another cluster right there. So you know what the cluster is now is 3 double crochet on 1 stitch. That is what makes up a cluster, just like that. Okay, so now you are going to skip 2 stitch again, and on the 3rd stitch you are going to be going in there with a cluster. So for this row 1, this is the pattern that you are going to be following. You skip 2 stitches, and on the 3rd you are going to go in there with a cluster. Skip 2, and on the 3rd you are going to go in with a cluster. Do that all around, and I will meet you here when I'm done with mine. Okay, so I'm at the end of the row 1 now. All right, so to end this row 1, you are just going to do a slip stitch on the chain 3 that we started with right here. All right, so now to start on the row 2, you are going to chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then turn your work to the other side, just like this. All right, so now you see this space here. Now you are going to be going in there with 2 more double crochet plus the chain 3 to create the first cluster, just like this. All right, and now you are going to skip this first cluster and go into the next space and create a cluster. 1, 2, and 3, and into the next space with a cluster. 1, 2, and 3, and into the next space with a cluster. So for this row now, you are just going to be going into the spaces and creating a cluster. All right, so you are going to do that all around the row 2 now, just in each of the spaces creating a cluster all around, and I will meet you here. Okay, so I'm at the end of the row 2 now, and this is how it's looking. So to end on the row 2 now, you are just going to do a slip stitch on the chain 3 that we started from here. All right, just like this. So now I'm going to be switching to my other color. All right, I told you I'm going to be playing with 2 colors. So I'm just going to chain up 1 now, and then I'm going to cut off this color yarn. And I'm going to tie this one. All right, so I'm going to turn my work to the other side now, just like this, so I can insert my new yarn color right here. So I'm introducing my cream color. But if you are not changing colors, all you just need to do is chain up 3 and turn your work and just keep doing what I showed you in row 2, because the entire shirts now is going to be just the repetition of row 2. All right, but if you are changing color, then this is for you. You see here that we ended now, you are going to be going into this space here, just like this, and you are going to chain up 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so on this same space now, you are going to be going in there with 2 more double crochet plus the chain 3. That is how you create your very first cluster. All right, and on the next stitch now, on the next space, you are going to be going in there with a cluster. And on the next space, you are going to be going in there with a cluster. So basically, this is the pattern you are just going to be following for this part of the shorts. All right. So keep doing that all around now with no increase. Make sure you did not do any increase because we've done enough increase on this part. All right, so we are not going to be doing any increase on the body of this shorts. All right, so just keep putting in the clusters all around. When you get here, you end with a slip stitch and you chain 3, turn your work, and keep doing clusters until you get 8 inches on the length. All right, 8 inches. Then I'll come back to show you what we are going to be doing next if I get my 8, after I get my 8 inches. All right, so I'm going off camera now to do my own 8 inches. The 8 inches is going to be calculated from here. The band is not part of the 8 inches, so from here down until you get 8 inches, then I'll come back to show you how we are going to be working on the crochet area. All right. Okay, so I'm done with my 8 inches and this is how it's looking. All right, so let me show you. So like I told you, the band is not part of the 8 inches. So just below the band here now to the end here, as you can see, it gave me exactly 8 inches, which I am going for. All right, but if you know you want your own longer, then you can continue putting in more rows, but I will advise that you wear it on your body to make sure that you are on the right track. Or you can use your mannequin, because at the end of the day, this one I'm actually using my mannequin to know where I need to stop. But of course, I've done some other shorts before which I'm using to measure it. Another way you can do it is taking your own short at home and just measure it with it and know where you want to stop. All right, but if you need it high waist, you can go ahead to put either 2 or 3 more rows on this particular skirt part before you start working on the crotch. All right, so the next step now is going to be working on the crotch area. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to actually put some stitch markers where I want to start working the crotch area from. All right, but to start that, this is what you are going to do. You know, this is the back area where we've been going around and ending the stitches. You are going to be putting these parts on the corner side. Okay, so turn it like this and make sure that this joint area is going to be on one of the corners. Okay, so this is how we are going to be working it, this middle parts here. Okay, so now what you are going to do, you are going to be putting in stitch markers in all of the corners. So the front, the back side, and the 2 corners, just like this. So it's easier to actually do now because they are clusters. All right, so all you just need to do is count the clusters and put it on the spaces and make sure that the 4 corners are actually the same size. Okay, so like my own count now is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14, and on the space just after the 14, that is where I put my stitch marker. So if you count it from here as well, it's exactly the same thing. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14, and as you can see, there is a stitch marker here. So if I go to the other side as well, you will see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14, and then you see your stitch marker, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14, then you see your stitch marker here. So make sure that is exactly how you are calculating yours, to make sure that every part is exactly the same thing, because you don't want one leg now to be bigger than the other leg. All right, so now when we want to work on the crotch area, we are going to be working the border from these 2 front and back stitch marker. All right, so let us get into that. Okay, so to start on the crotch area now, I'm going to be using my yellow yarn, because as you can see, as the way I played with my color, I'm using 2 on each of the colors. So I ended with the off-white color, which is a cream color. So now my next color is going to be the yellow color. All right, so I'm just going to reattach my yarn now on this very top parts where the stitch marker is. on the middle parts. Okay, so now you're going to remove the stitch marker from this middle part, and on that same space now, that is where you're going to reattach your yarn, just like this. And then you are going to chain up 21. For my size now, I'm going to be chaining up 21. Okay, so I'm going to make 21 chains now, because don't forget, when you make the chain, you are going to be making it in multiples of 3, because we are working the granny stitches. All right, so to get this part very well, make sure you measure your upper thighs. Okay, so when you measure around your upper thighs, you will know the amount that you are going to be putting here if you measure it with this part as well. Okay, so now I'm going to be going ahead to make 21 chains. So that is 1, 2, 3. So I like to always mark where my very first chain stitch starts, so I know when I'm working on it, I will know where I'm going to be stopping. Okay, so that's my very first chain. So now this is 3, and this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So like I said, I'm going to be putting in 21 chains. All right, so now that I have my 21 chains, I'm just going to remove my hook from here, and I'm going to turn my skirt to the other side, just like this. All right, because now we are going to be connecting it to the other side where the stitch marker is. All right, so now you are going to remove the stitch marker from here. Please just watch what I'm doing carefully. Okay, you're going to remove the stitch marker from here, and on this stitch, on this space now where you remove the stitch marker, that is where you're going to go in with your hook and take the loop of the chain you just made, and make sure it's straight. Okay, because we don't want it rolling around and twisted. Okay, so you take the loop from here now, and you are going to do a slip stitch, just like this. All right, so as you can see, now we have that settled. So what you are going to do now, you're going to cut off this yarn. So this is how you create the border. Cut off this yarn and then tie. So I just successfully created the border here now. Okay, so now with this border, I call it border on purpose. Let me take it up a bit. So I call it the border on purpose because with this border now you can differentiate where the right leg is and where the left leg is. Okay, so now we are going to be starting work on the right leg first. Okay, so we are going to be working all around this part now. Okay, and when we are done with this part, we can come back to this part. All right, so now on this border that we created here now, we are going to be going into the middle of this border to start on this part. Okay, so now my own stitches now, I did 21 chains. So I'm going to be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and from this side 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So now I'll make sure that I go into the very middle and reattach my yarn right here. Okay, so we are going to be starting from the very middle chain on the border. All right, so now you are going to chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3. All right, so now on this same stitch now, you are going to be going there with 2 more double crochet to create a cluster, because the chain 3 now is going to be serving as 1 double crochet. So plus 2 more double crochet now, we just created our first cluster. All right, so now you are going to skip 2 chains, 1, 2, and on the third chain now, you are going to be going in there with a cluster. 1, 2 and 3. All right, so you are going to skip 2 chain stitches again, 1, 2, and on the third chain you are going to be going in there with a cluster. 1, 2 and 3. And then you're going to skip 2 chain stitches, 1, 2, and on the last chain here now you're going to be going in there with a cluster. 1, 2 and 3. All right, so as you can see, we've started working this leg area, the very right leg. Okay, so now the next step now is going to be going into this next space now on the body of the shorts. Okay, you're going to be going in there with a cluster. 1, 2 and 3, and on the next space you're just going to be going in there with a cluster. So you keep putting in the cluster just like we've been doing. All right, just like we've been doing, just keep creating clusters and on each of the spaces all around. And when I get here, I'll come back to show you how we are going to start on our row 2 on the leg area. Okay. Okay, so I'm at the end of the row 1 now. So as you can see, I have 2 stitches left here. So in order to end this row, I'm just going to do a slip stitch on the chain 3 stitch that we started with right here to end this row. So as you can see, we did 1, 2, 3 on this part, and we did 1, 2, 3 on this part. All right, so this is how the row 1 is looking. All right, so now to start on the row 2, you're just going to chain up 3, 1, 2 and 3, and turn your work to the other side just like this. All right, so now on this space here now you're going to be going in here with 2 double crochet, because the chain 3 you just made is going to be serving as 1 double crochet. Okay, so this is how you create your first cluster on this part. All right, so now on the next space you are going to be going in there with another cluster. 1, 2 and 3, and on the next space you are just going to go in there with another cluster. So on this row you are just going to continue putting in the clusters just like we've been doing on the body of the shorts. All right, so there is no difference. All you are just going to do is just keep putting in clusters all around. Okay, so that is how you create the first leg. Just go ahead to keep putting in the clusters on each of the spaces, just going around. If you are using the 2 colors, then when you finish putting your 2 rows of yellow, you change to your cream or whatever colors that you're using. Just keep putting the rows on the leg until you get the length that you want. I'm going to go off camera now to do mine to create the first leg, and when I'm done with this leg, I'm going to come back to show you how it's looking and how we are going to be starting on the second leg area. All right, okay, so I'm done with the first leg and this is how it's looking. I ended up putting 5 rows on this side of this leg. All right, I might end up putting more, but for now I'm just going to be ending at 5 rows. So we are going to be starting on this side. Maybe by the time I finish putting the 5 rows here, if I'm not comfortable with just the 5 rows, then I'll go ahead to add whatever rows I want to add. All right, so now if you want to make this a pant, a trouser, you can actually go ahead now to add even more rows to your own. All right, so like I said, depending on how long or how short you want yours to be, you can go ahead. I've shown you the basics, so all you just need to do is make it your own. All right, so for now this is my leg 1 already. So now we are going to be working on the leg 2. All right, so let us get into that. Okay, so now to start on the other leg, we are going to be reattaching our yarn here where we started the first leg from. Okay, so you go in with your yarn right there, and then you are going to chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3. So on that same space, you are going to be going in there with 2 more double crochet, because the chain 3 is going to be serving as 1 double crochet to create the first cluster right there. All right, so you are going to skip 2 stitches, and then on the next stitch now, you are going to be going in there with a cluster. It will be easier to trace because we already have clusters on the stitches. All right, so the next one now, you are going to be going in there with a cluster. So skip 2 stitches, and on this one you are going to be going there with another cluster, just like this. And on the last stitch right here now, you are going to be going there with the last cluster for this row. So that's 1, 2, and 3. All right, so on these parts, as you can see, we didn't put it on the spaces, we put it on the stitch where the other side was. All right, so now you are going to now continue putting it on the space to be working on the leg. All right, so the next space happened to be here, so you're going to be going into this next space, and you're going to put a cluster there. And on the next space, you're going to be going in there with a cluster. So this is what you keep doing. Just keep creating the clusters on each of the stitches. Okay, keep creating your clusters on each of the stitches all around. And when you get to this part again, you're going to do the normal thing, what I just showed you here. You're going to be putting the clusters on these stitches where the previous one was to create the first leg. Okay, so keep doing that all around, and when you get here, I'll come back to show you how mine is looking and what we are going to be doing next. Okay, so I'm at the end of the row 1 now. So to end on this row 1, you're just going to do a slip stitch on the chain 3 where we started from, right here, to end this row. All right, so this is how it's looking. You see how it blended together now? So now to start on the row 2, just like we did here on the first leg, you are just going to chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then turn your work to the other side. All right, so now on this first space here now, you are going to be going in there with 2 more double crochets, because the chain 3 is going to be serving as one of our double crochet to create the first cluster. All right, so on the next space, you are just going to go in there with a cluster. And on the next space, you are going to be going in there with a cluster. So you already know what to do. This is just exactly what you just keep doing. All right, exactly what you've been doing on the body, and exactly what you did for the first leg. It is exactly how you are going to be creating this second leg. Okay, so just keep going into each of the spaces with a cluster. Just keep creating your clusters until you get the lengths that you want. All right, so like my own now, like I told you, the first leg I did 5 rows, so I'm going ahead to do exactly 5 rows on this side. All right, so when I'm done with mine, I'll come back to show you how it's looking and what we're going to be doing next. Okay, so I'm done with the other leg, and this is how it's looking. I ended up putting 5 rows here as well, like I did here. So I'm just going to be stopping on these 5 rows now. I'm not going to be adding to it, but you can go ahead to make yours longer if that's what you prefer. All right, you can actually turn this into a trouser like I've said before if you like. All right, but me is a shorts that I'm making, and this is where I'm going to be stopping the length for my shorts. All right, so the next step now is going to be making a chain that is long enough to actually go through here, because don't forget we used the hips measurements for this band parts. So you can go ahead to either use elastic band to do the top. I have a video on that, how to put an elastic band on your crochet project. So if that is what you feel comfortable using, you can go ahead to do an elastic band on top here. But if you want to do the string, you can actually go ahead to chain up to 200 or 250, something long enough that we go through your waist up here. All right, and fix it in. So for now, this is how I'm going to be leaving my shorts. Let me show you the back. All right, so this is the full thing. All right, so with this we've come to the end of today's tutorial. If you know you enjoy watching this video as much as I did making it, make sure to like the video and share it to your friends and your family who wants to make something as beautiful as this. All right. And if you've not subscribed to my channel before now, please do so now, because you don't want to be missing out on all those beautiful tutorials that I post on here. All right, and if you have any questions about this project, feel free to drop it on the comment section and I will be happy to help. All right, so until next time, bye bye.